Why you should never tell your tenants that you are a good landlord. I have owned properties for 26 years. I've been a landlord for 26 years. I'd like to tell you I've seen it all. I've certainly heard a lot of horror stories and unfortunately experienced a lot of horror stories. Had I known the one thing I'm about to tell you, I could have prevented quite literally 90%, maybe more, of those headaches that I had received from owning rental properties, really taking the wrong approach. Here's the problem. Most people that are going to be a landlord, wanting to be a landlord, are already landlords, take the entire wrong approach with their tenant from day one. They want to be friends with them. They want to make this personal. They want to say, oh, please, if you have any needs in the world, call me and I want this to be home for you. And many landlords can be landlords by default. They lived in a property for a period of time. It was their home, their primary residence. They move. They want their tenant to have that same familial experience. They can raise their children there and love the home just like you love the home. And you want to convey that to the tenant. The problem with all of that is it can open up a Pandora's box. Every little thing that potentially could go wrong, whether it's a plugged up toilet at 2 in the morning on a Saturday or something as simple as a light bulb going out that someone may not even know, they will call you because you've opened up that door. And you hear horror stories. People can take advantage of you. They can milk things, certainly with moratoriums in our recent past through the pandemic. People milked the clock and certainly took advantage of the situation. But the one thing that can make a huge difference, and the one piece of advice that I give all of the people I train when it comes to being a landlord, is setting the stage up front with your tenant the right way. What is the right way? Not what I was just saying, not where you're friendly and please, I want you to call me if you need anything at all. If you sneeze the wrong way, call me and I'll bring tissues, right? It's not your approach that is going to only make landlording a nightmare. It's going to burn you out, at which point you're either going to sell the property or have to pay a property manager and give up 10% of your monthly cash flow. I tell people all the time, I don't know, let me say it differently. Property managers serve a great role. I don't want to throw them under the bus, but I tell people in my circle, certainly those I train, you don't need a property manager. Being a landlord is not a difficult thing, especially if you set the stage up front. So I'm going to tell you exactly what I say when I'm getting ready to sign a lease with a tenant, and I would encourage you to take a similar posture. Now, you're going to chuckle at some parts. You may think I'm a big jerk in some parts. You may say I could never say those things in some parts, but I'm going to tell you over 26 years of owning rental properties what's tried and true, and doing this one simple thing right up front will eliminate 90% of your problems. It won't eliminate all problems. You own properties, you're a landlord, you have things to do. Things happen. Properties need maintenance. Properties have wear and tear. Doesn't mean it's malicious or someone is trying to take it out on the property or they're mad at you because you charged a late fee and now they're going to pour concrete down the toilet. That's not what I'm suggesting. What I'm suggesting is that things happen when you own properties, so you can eliminate 100% of the problems, but you can eliminate about 90%. The other 10% you should always look at as investment for the future. If I've got to suck it up and go do some repairs when a tenant moves out, or paint, or any sort of variations that would require some time and effort and potentially resources on your part, always view that as a savings for the future. You got to give up a Sunday afternoon to go paint. You're saving, you're planting seeds for your future. So don't look at it the wrong way. Look at it the right way. It's helping you and your family build wealth for the long run. So suck it up a bit, sacrifice a little bit, so what? You want to build millions of dollars in wealth with rental properties, you got to do some things. The 90% of the problems you can avoid by saying this. So when I'm at the property, I'm getting ready to sign the lease, and I always say to my tenants some variation of this. I want you to know right up front, I'm not a good landlord. I'm the person that if you call me at 2 in the morning, I can promise you there's a 100% chance not only am I not going to answer the phone, but I'm not going to call you back. I don't want you to bother me at 2 in the morning. If there's a plugged up toilet and you caused it, you fix it. Toilet's not plugged right now. So if it's plugged on Saturday morning, you caused it, fix it. But here's what I want you to know right up front. This is a business for me. I treat it as a business. And we have some very, very simple, really ground rules that can make our relationship to the tenant and yourself very, very effective, efficient, and frankly, pleasant. There's really 2 requirements on the tenant's part. Number 1, make your rent on time. You should, at this point now, day and age, have some sort of an ACH where you don't have to do a check in the mail. If you want to grab a check, have people deposit in your account, or some people like cash. So many variations, but Payments are made on time. They need to be made on time. I have a sliding scale late fee. It's 5% late after the first 5 days, it's 10% after the first 10 days, and 15% after the first 15 days. That can add up very, very quickly. So I tell the tenant right up front, your rent is expected on the 1st. It's late after the 5th. I do charge a late fee. And by the way, whether your grandmother dies or not, I'm going to charge a late fee. I have my own problems. You don't want to hear mine. I don't want to hear yours. So just to understand, if it falls on a holiday, pay before. If I receive it late, I will charge a late fee. And I just want you to know right up front, there's really no exceptions with that. Number 2, if there's a problem with the home, if something happens, you rip the screen, fix it. Just fix it, knock it off the rent, include the receipt, and I will honor it every time. If I find you abusing it one time, I will take that privilege away. Aside from that, you should take good care of the property. Anything that's minor, go ahead and fix it. Anything that's major, call me immediately. I have somebody out there. I'll take good care of the property. If the heat goes out, there's a plumbing issue, not a clogged toilet, but a plumbing issue, I'll have somebody out there immediately to get it handled. Aside from that, there's no reason for us to talk. You should never need to call me. I should never need to call you. Make your payments on time. Take good care of the property. We'll have a great relationship. Anything outside of those 2 rules, it's probably not going to end well for you. So I just want to let you know, Mr. Tenant or Mrs. Tenant, right up front, for us to have a great relationship, this is really the format I always like to share with my tenants right at the very beginning of their lease. Where do we sign, right? Well, I'm smiling, but it's that tone. Now, whether you like what I said or you think I'm a big fat jerk, doesn't matter. That approach with your tenant from the beginning sets the stage for a professional relationship. This isn't anything but professional. These aren't your friends. You're not going to go out for drinks with them unless there's some extenuating circumstance. You are here for business. And if this is for your family, for your portfolio, for your long-term wealth, you want to manage it as such. Would you rather have the money in the tenant's back pocket or the back pocket of your children or yourself or the college funds or the mortgage payment or the account that you're building up for emergencies? Whatever it is, it's your money versus their money. It's your asset, your future, protected as such. So I will boil my advice down to one thing. Set the stage up front with the tenant the right way. You can take a variation, you can be a softer tone, you can be a harsher tone, but as long as they know the ground rules up front, you will save yourself quite literally 90% of the headache calls, because when something small goes wrong, they're not just going to be inclined to get you on the number 2 speed dial. Conversely, the ones that say, oh, call me for any reason, they're punching you right on the spot with the speed dial. They're going to take advantage of that, and this can eliminate that. So final point, if you're going to be a landlord soon, you're wanting to be a landlord, you aspire to be a landlord, you should. It is the best way in my 26 years of experience to achieve long-term wealth is by owning rental properties. There are other ways. Real estate is just a very, very unique and tried and true medium. I wouldn't hire property managers right away. Try landlording yourself. It's not that hard. If you're remote, you're in another part of the world, that's a different story. But if there's a house right around the corner from you, never thought it was that difficult to be a landlord and manage that, and you shouldn't either. Take my advice, it will save you a lot of headaches.